Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Asian Psycho, and today I've got for you guys another To Hell with KDR commentary. And for this video's topic, I just felt like talking about something, and on my mind, I've been thinking about a lot of stuff throughout the past weekend, the past month or so, and I decided that, today, on this Sunday evening, I just want to just share my thoughts with the YouTubes, the internets, about my overall outlook on the world. How do I see the world? What does that have to relate to anything, and how is that significant to you guys and everyone watching this video? So, what I say in this commentary may sound familiar, because I will be talking about things that I've already covered. If you guys have watched other Tell with KDR commentaries or just normal commentaries in general, I often talk about, personal stuff or things that are very opinionated, and some of the things I have mentioned before in those previous commentaries may end up me mentioning them again here in this video. So if you feel like I am repeating things, then that's probably why. So, where should I start? I guess I'll start with my kind of personality. Again, I've talked about my personality before in a previous commentary, but just to reiterate, I'm a very bitter guy. I'm a very bitter, sarcastic, kind of jaded kind of personality. I'm not really known for optimism, hardly at all, in fact. So if you don't like those kinds of people, you probably don't like me either. However, that goes on to say that, whether you care for me being a bitter, sarcastic person is up to your preference, and I really don't give a shit if you don't like me, because, hey, you can't like everyone, I can't please everyone, and there you go. You just gotta accept the facts and move on with it. I don't think you are in any position to tell anyone, much less myself or anyone else, to change the way that they behave, because how are you gonna do that if you can't mind control them, And, obviously mind control is probably not a very, very good thing either. So, now that we've covered that one tangent, because I am a very jaded kind of person, that kind of personality that I have, causes me to kind of look upon the world and my environment in a very negative way. And, typically speaking, no matter where I am or no matter what kind of situation I'm in, due to my personality and just due to my experiences in general, I tend to have a very negative outlook on things, like, hence why I mentioned that I'm not known for my optimism. Whenever something happens, I always expect the worst, because in my head, my logic goes like this: if I expect the worst, then if the worst really does happen, then I wouldn't be surprised, and thus I wouldn't feel so bad about it, because, hey, at least I'm right in the end, right? But, obviously that kind of logic does have its drawbacks. If you constantly go around being negative all the time, no one's probably you're not going to have a lot of friends, because typically people don't like very negative kinds of people. Just look at me, I don't really have very many friends either. Go figure, right? But it's the kind of personality that does kind of suit me the most, because I have tried optimism or being optimistic, and given my experiences, I don't really think that being optimistic all the time, being bubbly and being, hey, everything's gonna be alright in the end, is, I don't know, I think that's just it's a very inflated way of looking at things, and personally I just don't like acting that way, or people who do act like that. Not trying to say that if you are those kinds of people, I'm not trying to say that you're a bad person, but I don't agree with having that kind of mentality all the time. So there you go. Now that we've covered that, another tangent, like I said, it kind of gives me a very negative outlook upon the world whenever I see, I check the news or whatnot. The first things I see, because, hey, media loves to put up the worst news possible on the internet most of the time, is like, hey, look, on MSN News, we've got another school shooting here in Colorado or some shit like that, and then here we've got a federal shootout where, I'm sure you guys probably know what I'm referring to if you guys watch the news at all, if you live in America. But, whenever I look at the news online or at the TV at my university student store, or if I'm just in our cafeteria eating breakfast, dinner, or whatever, and just watching TV at the same time, I always manage to notice the most negative sides of the world. And I mean, obviously, for a negative person like me, that's probably not that surprising. Negative person, notice negative things, makes sense, right? And I'm not gonna sit here and say, oh, I can't help it, I just like being a negative person. Well, I don't really like being negative, but it's like I mentioned before, it's just the kind of mentality that suits me best. But it does. I'm trying to say here that not everyone can see the world in various ways. And luckily, at least I do have a little bit of extent of being able to see the world from different perspectives. It's just that my own perspective, the negative side, is the perspective that I look through the most. And at least I'm grateful for the fact that I can still manage to have the power to see things from other people's shoes and whatnot. It's just that whenever I do kind of look around me, look on the internet, look out to the world in general, it's very hard for me to see like the better side of humanity or the better side of the world. Recently, as you guys probably know, Call of Duty Ghosts has dropped for all platforms, and everyone's playing it now because it's fucking Call of Duty. And the first thing I notice is that judging from information that I've gotten from watching other YouTube videos related to Call of Duty Ghosts, and just from my own research in general, and just paying attention to the kinds of comments that people have been saying and discussing amongst the community, Call of Duty Ghosts, in my opinion, does really seem like a fucking scam by the corporations that are behind Ghosts and the next gen consoles. It's basically a ruse to persuade people, to subconsciously persuade people. They probably will never admit this out loud, but it's probably something that Microsoft, Sony, or whatever companies that are behind the next gen consoles are trying to do in order to induce more pre-orders, more release day sales for their next gen consoles. And for me, I just can't help but see that it's just a very glaringly obvious thing that is happening right now. And me as a gamer, obviously I don't agree with that, because hey, it's just, if what to me that tells me that those industries are just trying to ruin a potentially good video game by making it intentionally bad so that other people can buy the next gen consoles. I won't go too far into this topic because I've already made a whole entire another video talking about this already, and I just felt like I wanted to mention that. With industries being all greedy, obviously that tells me, money makes the world go round. We all care about money. Fucking humans are all greedy and fucking greedy as shit. So all we're gonna work for is just money, 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 money. It's all, money. At the end of the day, money's written on all over our resumes, all over our faces, all over our fucking dicks, and whatever. It's all about that cash money dough, Apparently humans don't feel a need to kind of take a step back and realize that, hey, look, we have enough money already, why do we need to make more? But obviously I'm not a businessman, I can't see things from a true business standpoint because I have no expertise in the field. So whatever I say probably doesn't have as much merit as someone who actually works in the industry. So maybe everything I'm saying is just utter and complete bullshit, but that's just what I think. I think it's undeniable what's happening regarding ghosts and whatnot, but that's just me. You can choose to agree with me or not, I don't really care. Besides that, the industry going wild, just things going on all around the world that aren't necessarily the greatest pieces of news. Recently we've in the news, I just can't help but notice that there are so many shootings going on. Like, wasn't there another school shooting at some sort of elementary school or whatever? And then we had that shooting at that federal building or whatever, where one guy got killed, and that TSA worker got shot in the face or whatever at LAX airport. It's just, I look at those and I can't help but think, like, what is this world coming to? Like, we're I understand we're humans, right? Humans can make mistakes. Humans aren't meant to be perfect and all, but like for God's sake, like seriously, we're humans for a reason. We have these things called emotions that not very many other species have, that differentiate us between us and just other animals who just probably don't have as much emotion as we do, if at all. But why can't we exemplify that a little bit more? Obviously, there's far more compassionate people than people who kind of choose to do those things, go around shooting people and whatnot. But it's, to me living in a kind of a shell, almost you could say, in my own college dormitory, and only seeing through a very filtered perspective of the world through this medium called the internet. The internet likes to be very negative, apparently, and if you guys lurk the internet a lot, I'm looking at you, 4chan fuckers. Obviously, the internet's probably not all gung ho and friendly, happy tree friends or whatever, and cutting each other's heads off. Well, that last bit is true, but you get my point. So I don't know. For me, it's kind of it's not kind of, it's very draining on my humanity. It feels like. I mean, granted, I don't have a lot left to begin with, but hey, I'm still a human. I still have some of it left. But it's just very tiresome for me to open up my Chrome browser, and the first thing I see on MSN News is another shooting at another elementary school, la 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 la. And whenever I go to Twitch streams and read the chats, because part of the experience is by reading chat and laughing at everyone who's every idiot in the chat, and looking at YouTube comments, it's just it's very degrading. Definitely not good for a soul if you have any bit of heart in you left. Just all the comments, or a lot of the comments I see are malicious trolling. People bashing on each other, people hating on each other, and honestly, I don't know why that is. I don't feel the need to do those kinds of things, like flame each other over the internet and whatnot, unless I really do have a reason to do that. And I'll only do that if I have a really, really good reason. But if it's just down to just measly, just trolling and whatnot, usually I don't do that not too often. Obviously, if I'm trying to poke fun at people, then I'll do it in a way that it's obvious that I'm kidding. It's obvious that it's meant to be taken as a joke. But a lot of people out there, especially on the internet, seem like they have the privilege to go around saying a lot of hateful things and a lot of hurtful things on the internet just because they can. Because on the internet they're faceless, no one will know who they are, and because they have no way to say that out loud in today's society. Because hey, look, if you say some racist bullshit out loud and in public, what are people gonna think of you? Oh man, that guy's racist. Maybe we shouldn't talk to him. But on the internet, you can say whatever the fuck you want because no one knows who you are unless you're recognized by other people on the internet because you know them, they know you in real life or something like that. So, and again, I don't really know why they feel compelled to do that. Maybe they are racist people at heart. Maybe they just say those kinds of things because they want attention and whatnot. Whatever the reason, it only contributes to my I don't want to say theory, but my thinking that or my constant negative connotation of the world, and that every day I have to log onto the internet, and every day I have to walk around knowing that when I come back to my dorm after classes, I have to go back onto a whole new electronic world full of haters and full of people who only exist to bring detriment to other people. It's for me, it's very hard to accept that fact, even though I do in the end. I mean, honestly, I've always kind of expected better of the human race as a whole, but obviously not everyone's like that. The vast majority of humans on this earth, are not really, or I should say the vast majority, but a lot of people on this earth are not complete faggots and douchebags. But in my opinion, the very vocal crowd, the most vocal of people out there on the internet, are those kinds of people, are the kinds of people that you'd much rather avoid. And, you know, it only just serves to feed into my theory that, you know, or my outlook on the world that, you know, the world's not a very friendly place, you know. As much as people say, keep their optimism up and say, oh, everything's gonna be all right in the end, I just can't help but feel that, you know, I don't know, I just can't help but feel that the world is not a very safe place, and that people need to grow up thinking that, or people need to grow up with this mentality that, you know, you can't expect anyone to be nice to you. You can't expect anyone to give you any, give you any courtesies or try to help you out along the way. You really can't. And in return, obviously, if you're not shown, most generally speaking, if people aren't shown that kind of kindness or respect from the very get-go, what are the chances of them reciprocating it to other people? You know, unless innately you're some sort of fucking angel or some sort of god, implying that you're not human, but whatever. That's beyond the point. Like, I don't know. I feel like there needs to be someone out there who really promotes that, you know, people shouldn't just be douchebags to each other all the time on the internet. Again, I don't know who that may be, but I don't know. That's very far-fetched thinking. There can't be, if there's someone like that that's come along, it can't be human. That person cannot be human, because as long as that person, that kind of, you know, mass saviors in quotes, is human, as long as he's human, or he or she, I don't know the gender, you know, other humans will look at them and say, and just, you know, there will always be some people who will hate them for whatever reason. You know, you always see people hating on other people for whatever reason. Maybe it's because the person who's being hated on is a really popular figure on the internet or something like that, and they are being hated on just because of the simple fact that they are popular. You know, maybe people are saying hateful things because they're racist, maybe because they're sexist, maybe because they are discriminatory in some sort of way. And honestly, that kind of mentality that people display to me utterly sickens me, and it does not help the fact that I already do not have a very great outlook on the world to begin with. And as much as I want to have more faith in the human race as a whole, it's very difficult for me to do so, because I honestly feel like humans in general are complete garbage, and we are no better than anyone else. We are no better than not even the animals that we slaughter and eat all the fucking time. We are no better. We just aren't good. You know, I honestly feel that we are not good people at heart, because if we were, we would. My entire YouTube sub box wouldn't be filled with videos whose comments are filled with nothing but retarded, downy statements made by people who seem like they're fucking autist or autistic, whatever the term is. Not trying to bash on those types of people. I do apologize if you know anyone who is afflicted with Down syndrome or autism, because that honestly kind of sucks. But seriously, it's kind of difficult, especially given my personality, because what you need to understand is that part of this outlook, or part of what contributes to my outlook on the world around me, is due to the fact that I have a very slight tinge of arrogance. It's a very weird kind of arrogance. It's arrogant in the sense that I feel complacent knowing that I am better off as a human being than the vast majority of other people on the internet. But at the same time, I recognize that I'm probably not much better not much better than other people, even at that point. It's a very warped sense kind of arrogance, not the hoity-toity, nobility kind of arrogance that you would think of from like 8th, 17th, 19th century, English gentlemen or whatever. It's not like that. It's a very down to earth, almost humble sort of arrogance, in the sense that that you're not really that great as a human being, because you know that all human beings aren't necessarily great. But at the same time, you know for a fact that you can go to bed knowing that everyone else around you is probably a little bit worse off than you are as a human being. I don't know how to explain it. It's just, like I said, it's a very warped sense of arrogance, and because of that sense of weird sort of arrogance, it definitely contributes to me saying that this world is utter complete garbage, and I don't really know if there cannot be any way to fix what I see wrong with the world overnight, or even at all. Humans will stay humans. There will always be those people who will be evil no matter what, and be complete fucking faggots for the rest of their lives. And there are those who are genuinely good people and actually do give a shit about other people's problems, and make sure not to, or they try to do their best from refraining from saying mean and hateful things. Obviously everyone makes mistakes once in a while, saying things that they probably shouldn't say. And we're just human. I understand that. Sometimes we make mistakes and we're frustrated. We're only human. Our emotions can get the better of us sometimes. But those kinds of people who are genuinely good at heart and have good intentions, I'm not worried about. It's the people who are who really are kind of terrible people at heart on the inside that I'm worried about. Not in the sense that I'm worried for them, that I want them to change their ways. I could care less about them. I do not have time for those kinds of people. If you are the kind of person who all you do is just leave hateful comments on other people's videos and just act like a fucking dickwad to other people on the internet, just because you can do that, and you're not going to do it outside in the real world, in real life, because obviously if you say mean stuff in school or at the workplace, you're obviously going to you're gonna suffer the consequences for that. But on the internet, no one's gonna bust your ass for saying, I hate all black people. No one's going to punish you for that necessarily. I mean, if you go overboard with it, yeah, maybe there may be some consequences, but as a person, you won't suffer anything at all. And just because, and those kinds of people, or any kind of person who believes in discrimination of any sort, or are genuinely bad people, I have no time for. I have no respect for you. I have no sympathy for you, or for whatever happens to you in life. It's I do not have the time for that. I only have time to focus on people who are willing to take the time to actually be good people, and not the assholes who don't. And whatever happens to you, I could care less. That's what I mean by I'm worried about them, because I'm more worried about what they can do to ruin other people, as opposed to I'm worried about them as people. So I mean, honestly, I just see those kinds of people, the hateful kinds of people, as just nothing more than mere subhumans anyway. Why would I want to waste my time with people like you? I mean, the highest status that I can give you is just mere entertainment. If I want to interact with your kind for my own entertainment and enjoyment, because I'm fucking bored. That's as far as it'll go. Other than that, whatever. You're just a piece of trash on the side of the road that I could just ignore any day of the week. Unless, of course, you try to, hurt me in some way, then I will just fucking come over to you and bust your fucking head off. But that comes later. Whatever. What can I say? The world is a terrible place to live in, but at the end of the day, it's still the only world that we can live in, and we have to figure out a way to make it as comfortable as we can for ourselves and the people we love and the people we live with. Obviously, not everyone will be as cooperative as I am. Not everyone will be not everyone will have the same mentality as I do, for obvious reasons. All people are different. No, can't help that. But what I can change is sharing my thoughts with people on the YouTubes and with the internet, and hopefully convincing at least some of you to realize that, hey, look, the world's probably not the best place to live in, but it's the only one we've got. So we might as well hunker down and prepare our anuses, and for lack of a better term, go and dry, because there's really no other way to do it. There's no better learning experience than to experience everything firsthand, in my opinion. And being able to figure things out for yourselves is one of the most important things, one of the most important skills you could have in life in general. Being able to form your own opinions and sticking with your opinions unless someone convinces you otherwise, with good reasoning, and not just, oh, you should just believe me because just believe me, you trust me. Those kinds of things. As long as I see people becoming actually mature people who can settle differences and settle bad blood, for lack of a better term, in a respectable and mature way, and not just calling each other faggots and being done with it. That's what I would like to see. I'm not asking for a revolutionary brainwashing of your entire world, because honestly, if everyone suddenly started to act all nice and tidy to everyone else, it'd be kind of weird. I won't lie, it'd be kind of weird. But I'm not expecting that, and to be honest, that will never happen. But it would be very nice if at least some people could start realizing that, hey, look, maybe we shouldn't just talk this way. Maybe we shouldn't make the world a worse place by being dickwads, and maybe we should, try doing something that won't hurt other people. Obviously, most of the people who do bad things, or say bad things, or are bad people in general, aren't going to realize this because they're douchebags. And douchebags typically don't see things in other perspectives other than their own, which is a pity, but again, I don't care for them. But I do care for you guys, for those of you who are actually taking the time to listen to this video. So, I've been talking for about 25 minutes already, so it's about time for me to get off. Hopefully, you have enjoyed this commentary. Again, this is just a random thing that I wanted to talk about, because it just popped into my head and I just felt like talking about it. Obviously, I don't expect anyone to agree with any of my opinions, but if you do, that's great. If you don't, that's great too. Everyone's entitled to their own opinions, except if you don't agree with mine, I don't care for you. So yeah, that's all I wanted to say, and I do apologize if I do sound very negative throughout this commentary, but hey, that's just kind of who I am. And like I said before, don't judge people just because they think a certain way. If they think a certain way that is very detrimental to other people, then maybe there might be a problem. But as long as they don't actually hurt anyone physically or mentally or psychologically very severely, then having opinions is fine. There are lots of neo-Nazis living in America. There are a lot of communists living in America. They have their own opinions. There are racist people in America too. Racism is always going to be a thing everywhere around the world. But, it's one thing to be racist. It's another thing entirely to go out and hurt people because you're racist. That applies to basically any other kind of discriminatory or hateful kind of act out there. And, it's fine to me. It's fine if you are racist, or if you have an opinion that I might not agree with, or it's not agreeable with everyone. It's just as long as you recognize that it's not something that you should act upon, and you can control yourself, then, as far as I'm concerned, we're good. So, anyways, thank you guys very much for watching. Hope you guys don't twist my words out of context, because there's always some people who are going to point out some things that I say and say, hey, look, doesn't that, since you said this, doesn't it mean that I can do this? No, it doesn't. No, just no. Anyways, again, I think I'm saying this for a third time, but thank you very much for watching this video. Thank you for listening to this commentary, and I will see you guys later.